The sunshine, it looked like an amber light or something. Put the microphone part like just in front of your mouth, like almost like if you could pucker, if you could pucker, you could kiss it, kind of a deal.
Good.
Perfect, yeah.
Cool.
Otherwise it doesn't, the microphones are fairly sensitive, so if you're too far away, it just picks up all this.
Flight Tower, Flight Design 747 Juliet, Delta 1500 feet over the medical center from the west inbound Juliet.
Flight Design 747 Juliet, Delta, Brainard Tower, make left traffic, runway 2, report a 2-mile left base.
We'll go 7 Juliet, Delta. Juliet.
So we have a bunch of radios. We have a lot of stuff going on here. All the engine stuff here, monitoring RPMs and pressures and things like that. Batteries, both batteries, and the alternator in the middle there. Position of the trim in the back, I didn't explain that, but that's just to help on, the airplane's not always perfectly balanced, so you'd have to hold it to fly straight and level, so you can have a little trim, like a little flight control device on the elevator that will move, that will help move the whole elevator, and then take that pressure off so that you can fly with 2 fingers.
Wow.
That just tells me where it's at, so we don't like take off and suddenly the airplane wants to go, you know, or do something weird. Okay, we got good oil pressure. On this side, I have a couple different things going on. I have all the normal flight instruments. Old school flight instruments would be like this. They call them steam gauges or whatever. They're just hooked into the pedostatic system of the airplane. To tell me how fast I'm going and how high I'm going. How high I'm going is basically like a barometer.
Yeah.
As we go up in altitude, the pressure changes, that indicates. Airspeed is the air coming in the pitot tube, has a ram effect, so the faster we go, the more it pushes that needle.
Okay.
These are just backups to what we have in front. So here I have my airspeed and altitude on little tapes on each side. My vertical speed, whether I'm climbing or descending, and by how fast, the direction I'm going to go, the barometric pressure outside, which tells this how high, so I can change our altitude just by changing the barometric pressure. So we have to know if it's a high pressure day, we have to dial this in so we know how far we are above the ground. So they'll tell you that all the time. They'll say altimeter is 3006. I'm like, okay. So right now it's probably going to be 299 something. I know our airport's at 20 feet, so that's going to be pretty close.
This reminds me of a video game that I played when I was a really little kid.
Yep, then you got to avoid the this is cool when you're flying. You have to
right.
no, this is cooler.
Pay attention.
You know? All right. Brakes, all works. So we'll get the information now.
Brainard Airport, ATIS information, Juliet 2053, Zulu observation. Wind 360 at 10, visibility 10. Scattered cloud 6,500, scattered 9,000, temperature 23, dew point 7, altimeter 2997. LDA or visual approach news, landing departing runway 2. VFR departure aircraft requesting flight following or Bradley Class Charlie airspace service. Advise ground your destination and altitude for beacon code assignment. Notice the airman informal noise abatement procedures are in effect. Caution for birds on and in the vicinity of the airport.
A lot of birds.
On initial contact, you have ATIS Juliet.
They like to fly around. They like the river or something here. There's marshlands nearby in Wethersfield, Glastonbury, so all those things entice them to come. All right, so.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're not flying, just you can keep your feet back a little ways from the rudder pedals, and if you can, if that's comfortable.
Yep.
Those shoes don't look like ideal flying shoes.
Well, I didn't really have time to change, so
gotcha. All right, we want to go 21.6. So there's a separate frequency for ground operations and then another one for the tower. So once we get a little closer to the runway, I will call them. Aaron is here. If I had a horn, I would honk it, but... I don't know if you know Aaron Gleixner. He's a F-135 Stovall manager.
I bet a lot of people here are Pratt & Whitney family.
Fair number.
Yeah.
All right, we'll call the ground now. Yeah, Brainard Ground Experimental 818 Romeo Bravo is taxiway Charlie with information Juliet. I'd like to taxi runway 2.
Romeo Bravo, Brainard Ground, runway 2, taxi via Charlie and Alpha, cross runway 29.
All right, Charlie, Alpha, cross 29, runway 2, 8 Romeo Bravo. So he's like the air traffic controller for the ground. To make sure we don't have a conflict on the ground, like somebody's taxing this way and the other guy's taxing that way. On the same taxiway, there's not like places you can turn around easily sometimes. So. A couple people down there. So we'll taxi down, we'll do some safety stuff at the end just to make sure all the systems on the airplane are operating normally.
I appreciate that.
And that's like standard operating procedure. And then we'll change the tower frequency and we'll tell them we're ready, and there we will go. You're ready. And if at any time you feel like, okay, I'm done, I don't like this, just raise your hand and let me know.
Highly doubt that will happen, but
okay.
Thank you for the option.
Always, yeah, it's not a pleasant thing when people are not happy. Okay, we got people aimed every which direction here. The little Tomahawk kind of went right in the middle.
Looks like a toy.
That's a small 2-passenger airplane. That's like a Cessna 172, which would be very similar in size to this airplane here. All right, so we're gonna do a pirouette here.
Is ballet dance language standard?
It's non-standard phraseology, as they would say. All right, so we did our taxi stuff. This looks good. All that looks good. So now what we'll do is we'll make sure I have my 2 electronic ignition systems. We're going to make sure they're both functioning properly. So if one was to turn off for some reason, lose power, a little light comes on. So I'm going to turn it off and we'll check that. So we'll rev up the engine. And with one set of spark plugs runs on this one set of spark plugs works on that one, so you have redundancy. So even if one is off, the engine doesn't stop running.
Good plan.
And their electronic ignition is so powerful that losing one doesn't do anything. Magnetos, when you turn one of them off, you have a noticeable drop in RPM.
Wow.
Check to make sure the M's come up when I turn on something that draws a lot of power. That tells me the alternator's working. Check to make sure we have a good idle. That was pretty good. Bring it back up a little bit.
What would a bad idle be?
When it quits.
Okay.
All right, so we got all that. Okay, say it was 2997, right on the money. All right, now we'll check the controls. So watch your knees per second. Make sure everything is free and goes the right direction. Felt normal. Okay.
Wow, you really picked a good day.
We've been having a string of good days. It's going to be a good day for like the next week or something. So. Yeah, somebody's using the grass runway. There's a parallel grass runway over there. All right, we'll switch to the tower. Let's see, do we want to try to, well, we'll probably get to see your house maybe on the return flight, because it's going to send us off this way. Your house is over there somewhere. All right, one last check to make sure good. And Brainard Tower, experimental 818 Romeo Bravo is ready to go. Runway 2 would like a left turn on departure if that's available.
Runway 2, clear for takeoff, left turn approved.
All right, clear to go, left turn on course, A Romeo Bravo. Okay. Very, very large runways here. This airplane needs about a fifth of this runway to take off and land, so.
Okay, Brainard Tower flight design 7 Juliet Delta, ready to go northeast turf for close traffic and return to the turf, please.
Are the runways modeled for in case a commercial airplane
747
needs
Juliet
to...
Delta, Brainard Tower. Northeast turf, clear for takeoff, make right traffic report, midfield downwind.
Something did not feel right there.
Takeoff, northeast turf, right downwind, 7 Juliet Delta.
That's correct. From late Romeo Bravo, say intentions.
We had a stumble on takeoff roll there, so we were aborting.
Roger, and what are your intentions now, sir?
I'm going to go back to the run-up area for a minute and see what was up.
From late Romeo Bravo, roger, runway 2, taxi by left turn Alpha, cross runway 29, remain this frequency and advise when ready for departure.
All right, very good. We'll advise. And we'll cross 29.
29 Sierra Foxtrot is 6 miles to the southwest.
253 Yankee Alpha, Brainard Tower, able to short approach?
That's affirmative.
Make short approach, number 253 Yankee Alpha, runway 2, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 2, short approach 250 Yankee Alpha.
Yankee Alpha, amend that, clear for the option, runway 2.
We're going to be full stop.
Clear to land. How long is Yankee Alpha? Thanks. Traffic is the Cirrus will follow you.
Yankee Alpha.
Just didn't like that stumble.
Tower, straight in runway 2, report a 2-mile final.
Want to do another run up here and make sure everything is copacetic.
Right base.
29 Sierra Foxtrot, we'll report a 2-mile final for 2.
Sure everything, I'm not forgetting something.
There will be traffic holding in position.
It wasn't me, I didn't break anything.
Prior your run.
That's good.
Okay, that's a little tight. This guy landing right here.
Oh my gosh.
Delta Brainard Tower, ready for departure.
That was a very tight approach.
5299 Delta, ready to depart, departing to the east.
Cessna 5299 Delta Brainard Tower, roger, runway 2.
Something's not right.
And wait.
We are not going today. I apologize.
That's okay.
Something is, I'm not sure what's going on. Tower, experimental 810 Romeo Alpha would like to taxi back to the T's.
250 Yankee Alpha, turn left in on hotel taxiway, taxi ramp this frequency.
Hotel D.
Experimental 810 Romeo Bravo, Brainard ground roger, taxi T hangars via Alpha, cross runway 29 and remain this frequency.
I will cross 29, stay with you to the T's.
5299 Delta Brainard Tower, runway 2, clear for takeoff, right turn eastbound approved.
I'm not sure what's...
We'll take you off, 5299.
Cirrus 90 Foxtrot, your traffic is underway, runway 2.
Those should all be lit up.
Yeah.
350 at 4.
Something is cold on multiple cylinders. I don't know why.
7 Juliet Delta, extend your down. When you be number 1 for the turf, number 2 for the airport, you're following.
Yeah, it's strange. They were, when you first started up, they were pretty active.